Good morning. Happy post-day Thanksgiving. This is BBQ Bill, and we're going to be doing tri-tip today. There's a couple ways you could do tri-tip. It's not real popular yet here in the south central part of the United States, but it is very popular in California, and its versatility is moving eastward. This piece of meat comes from this section of the cow, and you can cook it a couple different ways. So you can cook it like a steak, where you're grilling it to a medium in the middle, so nice and pink, and then searing on a gas grill. I like to, when I do it that way, I'll smoke it to about 120 degrees and then put it on a searing hot gas grill both sides just to get a good crust. Today we will be smoking this like a brisket. So kind of low and slow on a smoker. We'll use a traditional smoker as well as the pellet grill to finish it off. But this will take a good 5 hours at the temperatures we'll be cooking it at, and bringing it up slowly to about 200 plus 205 degrees. So it's going to have the consistency of brisket. It's going to taste like brisket. And about half the time. So that's the nice thing about this. And we have to feed a clan today. We've got family in for Thanksgiving. They're hungry. And when 5 hours is up, they're going to be ready to watch Arkansas Hogs play football. And they're going to want to have some good meat going on. So more to come as we get into this and get it trimmed up. See the fat cap. So we'll be working on that next. Next step in the process with this tri-tip is to get some of the excess fat or silver skin where we can get it. This is silver skin right here. Here's the hard fat. A lot of this hard fat is not going to render down. This side is typically less fatty. And I've got my Victorinox deboning knife for trimming the fat off and silver skin. Got this knife at Bearded Butchers in Ohio, and also got their seasonings while we were there. It's a great knife, and it is sharp. It goes right through. Bearded Butchers uses this knife even when they're butchering up the meat sections of their cows. So you know you got a good one if we're using one of these Victorinox knives. Hopefully I'm saying that right. One little trick, I'm going to put some striations into this fat. So I'm going to go and then the other way. The purpose of doing this is to get some openings into the fat cap, which enable us then to get seasoning that will render down through these cracks and into the meat during the cook. So I'll do that on the other one too when we get going, and then we'll season it up. Put a little bit of base rub on here with some olive oil. Some people use mustard with beef. I tend to like to use olive oil just a little bit, and this will help the seasoning to adhere to the meat better. We'll do that on both sides as we work the seasoning into this. Family favorite for tri-tip has been Holy Cow barbecue rub. steak seasoning. So I know there is a good brand of tri-tip seasoning developed in California, but I don't have any. So this has gone very well though with tri-tip. So we make sure our seasoning it is all shook up and it's going to come out flowing well. Hold it up about 10 inches to a foot above the meat so it spreads evenly. Both sides of this tri-tip are now seasoned up, and I'm going to let them sit and absorb that seasoning into the meat, while the next step is to go get the charcoal ready and fired up, and then we'll start our cook on the traditional upright charcoal and wood smoker, and then let that go. We'll probably try to get it up to about 160 internal temperature, and then this type of meat typically goes into a stall about right then, and that's when we'll move it over to the Traeger pellet smoker and wrap it up in butcher paper, and then crank the temperature up so that it will heat up then to the 200 degrees that we want to get it to. So today we're going to start with a traditional smoker cook on the tri-tip, and we'll be using regular briquette charcoal, which lights fast and gets going. Then the other half will be this B&B competition char logs. They take a little bit longer to light and catch, but they last longer also. So these are great for a long cook. And then instead of using the lighter fluid today, we're going to use these little paraffin cubes from Weber to get the charcoal lighted, so it's all natural. And today we're going to use hickory wood. I love hickory for any red meat, whether it's steaks or even pork. Goes great also. And then I'll typically use cherry wood or apple wood for poultry. So got my whatever it is. This is what we put our charcoal into. It's called a chimney. It's called a charcoal chimney. And so we'll load that up and light that and get that going. These coals are ready to go, and we're going to put them onto the traditional smoker. This type of smoker works with charcoal and your favorite wood. We're going to use hickory today. And then the air comes in the side vents and takes the heat up and out the top. So drip pan is going to catch the drippings coming off the meat. I'm going to give it a little starter with some beef broth. And a little Worcestershire sauce. And a little Coke. And we'll put a little bourbon. Alright. Wood chunks are in. They're already starting to catch. we're off and running. So it's gonna start smoking pretty good. I've got such a good fire in there, I'm gonna close the vents off for now so that can calm down a little bit. Not bad.
Alright, so what are we doing here?
Well, the tri-tip has been in the smoker for about an hour and 15 minutes. And it's looking really good right now. And what I'm going to do is just flip it upside down. So we make sure we get even cooks on both sides. Okay. These tri-tips have been on the smoker now for 3 hours. So they're looking pretty good. And wrap them in butcher paper. That helps keep the nice bark while it's wrapped up, but it will also finish cooking through the way we want it when we have it wrapped in either aluminum foil or butcher paper. So off we go. Okay, in it goes. Got those on the upper rack where it's going to get the most heat. And we're going to set this up to let's do 285. Yeah. And we'll check on that. Yeah, we'll check that temperature again in about another hour and a half. See how it goes. More later. On the right is a little bit smaller, thinner than the one on the left, and it's running between 195 to 199 via the probe. So we're going to pull that one, and as it rests, it will get up 200 or more. So I'm going to take that off of the trigger right now. And we're going to stick it right there. Close this back up because my bigger tri-tip is running 190. Time to unwrap from the butcher paper the first tri-tip, which has been resting for probably close to a half hour, which is about what you want. And Puppy Chewy here, he's waiting to see if any juice or scraps of meat would tend to fall on the floor for him. So there we go.
And pose. And work. Work that cutting board.
Here we go.
So tri-tip, we have the meat grain going in several different directions here, so it's tricky. We always want to slice against the grain. It presents for a lot better chewability in the mouth versus cutting with the grain, which would be kind of nasty with the cartilage and everything. So we've got the grain running this way on the tip end, and the grain is running horizontally on kind of the butt end there. So here we go. We're gonna slice this, and we're gonna eat. We got a bunch of hangry people. We got Hogs fans everywhere, and we want to make sure that we get this meat is just falling apart. It's hard to get good slices
Get it from in here.
because it is slicing. I left some fat on this on purpose because it's a slow cook. We want to keep the juice going throughout the cook and not let the meat dry out. And it looks nice and juicy. Okay, we're just gonna turn a little bit that away. And someone's gonna get a nice end piece there. And one more. There we go. And the chef gets this end piece. Yeah. What I'm shooting for is the taste of brisket. We got it. And this meat is very tender. You can see the juice. And you can see the bark from the seasonings and the smoke. So we're in good shape, folks. Let's chow down. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.